Now that you do have your project set up and ready to go, we can begin to create our first callout. To do this, you're going to want to open your program. You're going to want to go to File, New Callout. You want to click Yes, and we will start here. Now to go ahead and to begin with things, you're going to want to change your project name to whatever you renamed it in here. So for example, ours is Super Awesome Callout, so we are just going to copy and paste that right here. So you are going to want to change that. For this purpose, we're just going to be creating a very simple callout of a person with a weapon. So we're going to say person with a weapon. Now here on this is where you're actually going to call later and reference to your call. So we're just going to say, we'll say armed person. Now I do have a few things preset when you create a new callout. The first thing is I have a private vector 3 spawn point. For this spawn point, this is going to get a random position around the player within a 250 float radius. Here we're going to want to add some code to be done before the call is actually displayed to the player. During a callout message, which is the 911 dispatcher, this will pop up above the HUD. This is the text. The position of the callout will be the spawn point, which we define here. The friendly name is what will show up on your LSPDFR character activity page. Now once we get into the public override bool on callout accepted, this is what will happen once the callout is accepted. If it's not accepted, when you actually start the process, and the end. So to begin with, we're going to want to go ahead and make some things happen in our code. The first thing we're obviously going to do is create a PED. So here we're going to go and we're going to create a PED. So we can do this by insert, PED, create random PED. We are going to disregard this for now, but if you had a specific coordinate that you wanted that PED at, you could input it here. For our purpose, we're going to put him at spawn point. We're going to change the PED reference name. You see it says PED replace PED reference name. So this is going to be armed PED. And if you would like, what I always recommend doing is going here and adding a private PED armed PED. And therefore this PED transfers throughout the code everywhere. So now we can just do armed PED equals new PED at spawn point. Now we are going to want to arm the player. So technically right now on the weapon options we only have it to give to the player. But I will show you how you can take this and add it to where it goes to someone else. So instead of game.localplayer.character.inventory, we can simply go armedped.inventory.give new weapon, and you see this will give them a combat pistol with 999 bullets, and it is equipped. Later on, we will make the PED actually do some action, but for now, we're just going to create the PED. This will eventually be added under the insert task, and the PED will be assigned some task. So we will make a note that this is coming later. Now we are also going to want to stop traffic nearby the PED. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to insert, traffic options, create speed zone. The radius is we're going to set to 10 and we're going to set the speed to 0. Now you do see that this goes from the game.localplayer.position. We're going to change this to our armed head. And we're going to call this no speed. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go here to what will be dispatched, and we're going to say reports of an armed citizen. We're going to copy this and we're going to add the same thing here, but we're going to lowercase this r. So now all this happens before the callout is displayed. So we go ahead and we generate our spawn point, we generate our pet, we give the pet a weapon, we add no speed in the area, and we give the callout message. Now when the player accepts the callout, if you need to do anything like create anything else, this is the location to do that. Some people will add some subtitles here to let the player know that they need to make their way to the individual, which is what we're going to actually do. So we're going to go to UI and we're going to say show subtitle. And we're going to say make your way to the armed ped. We'll say subject. Now this will display at the bottom of the screen in white. And then we are going to have the last line here where it says last line. Now if the callout is not accepted, really you want to delete the peds, but we will go over that in a later time. And on process, this is where you'd begin your actions if the player is within so much distance of the armed ped that they would attack them, but that is again at a later time that we'll do that. So now we are ready to go ahead and save our code. So we will save it as armed ped. We will go back in here to our main Visual Studio file. We will go to callouts and add existing item, and we will add armed ped. We will now open it up and double to make sure that we don't have any issues, which it does look like we are good here. We do have one issue. We will fix this issue by doing this. And I will fix this in the code for when you guys get the program. That will be good to go there. So you see we have no speed. We create that. We have all this stuff. And so we are now good to go. Now one last thing that you will all want to do, so you get in game and you actually have your callout, is we are going to want to register. You can do that by copying what I have provided for you. You can simply change this template to your armed person. And then you are going to have your callouts registered when you get in game. So once you go on duty on LSPDFR, your registered callouts will be here and you will start getting your armed person calls. So this is how we begin to make our first